And King Charles III was officially proclaimed as the new king of the United Kingdom following the death of Queen Elizabeth II on Thursday. Speaking during the historic ceremony held by the Accession Council at St. James's Place in London, the new king described his mother as an illustrious leader whose 70-year reign was unmatched and worth emulating. He further took an oath to preserve the Church of Scotland and also pledged to uphold a constitutional government as he ascends to the throne. Serfine Achieng now brings us the details of this special ceremony, which was televised for the first time in the history of the UK monarchy.
A dark cloud still hovers across the world and in the United Kingdom. Thousands of people mourning the death of Queen Elizabeth II, the longest-serving monarch who died peacefully at 96 years at Buckingham Palace in Scotland. As is tradition in the royal family, when a sitting monarch dies, whoever is next in line of succession automatically ascends to the throne. And that is why, even as the overwhelming news of her death is still sinking in, her first son, Charles III, had to immediately assume his new role as king.
Your Majesty, to make your declaration.
A historic ceremony was held on Saturday to officially proclaim him as the new king at the St. James Palace in London. The ceremony is a decades-long tradition in the royal family, held by a ceremonial body known as the Accession Council to declare the death of the old sovereign and confirm the new sovereign. The king made a personal declaration of the Queen's death, hailing her dedicated service to her people in her 70-year reign.
My mother gave an example of lifelong love and of selfless service. My mother's reign was unequaled in its duration, its dedication and its devotion. Even as we grieve, we give thanks for this most faithful life.
The king described the late queen as an illustrious leader, pledging to emulate her style of leadership.
In taking up these responsibilities, I shall strive to follow the inspiring example I have been set in upholding constitutional government and to seek the peace, harmony and prosperity of the peoples of these islands and of the Commonwealth realms and territories throughout the world.
The new king also took an oath to preserve the Church of Scotland.
I, Charles III, by the grace of God, of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and of my other realms and territories, King, Defender of the Faith, do faithfully promise and swear that I shall inviolably maintain and preserve the settlement of the true Protestant religion as established by the laws made in Scotland.
I now invite the witnesses to His Majesty's oath to sign both copies.
His family and a section of members of the Accession Council witnessed his signature on the oath and declaration, which will be made public and shared across all the Commonwealth countries and British territories.
Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip!
The solemn period of mourning was temporarily interrupted by gun salutes that were fired at the Tower of London and across other parts of the UK, with the trumpeters playing a fanfare to mark the transition to the new sovereign. Flags were also raised to full mast in honour of the new king, but will be lowered back to half-mast tomorrow to turn attention back to the funeral of the late queen.
3 cheers for His Majesty the King! Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray!
In the meantime, a special session of Parliament was convened where senior members of Parliament in the UK, including Prime Minister Liz Truss, swore a new oath of allegiance to King Charles III.
I swear by Almighty God that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles, his heirs and successors, according to law, so help me God.
3 cheers for His Majesty the King. Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray!
Charles III becomes king at 73 years, with his wife Camilla becoming the Queen Consort. His coronation will, however, be held at a later date in respect of the mourning season of the loss of Queen Elizabeth II, and also as a result of the enormous amount of preparation that is required to organize the ceremony. Queen Elizabeth II was coronated 14 months after she became queen. Serfine Achieng, Oma, Citizen TV.
And in the meantime, the royal family has announced that Queen Elizabeth II is to be laid to rest on September 19th at Westminster Abbey.